welcome to the first episode of the Crispy Noodle podcast for the new year here in 2023. Woo, here we go.
All right.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. This is the Crispy Noodle podcast. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we are here to give you some interesting tidbits in world sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in an hour-long weekly podcast. Thank you guys for joining us on our very first episode of the new year. We have lots to get to. But before we get to all of the news, we haven't done a show in a while. So it's we were off on the holiday break. So Mikey, how you doing? It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. The holidays were a whirlwind of activity and visiting with people and different friends and family events. So just stayed very, very busy. I am sad to be back working after I took a nice little extended break there, and it's always tough to get back into the swing of things, but getting back into the swing of things. Luckily, I have God of War Ragnarok to help me through it.
There you go.
One of my big Christmas gifts this year was the collector's edition. My girlfriend got it for me, so I've been playing that extensively. Absolutely fantastic. I will have my full thoughts on the game, and I won't say anything to spoil it for you, but it's just as good, maybe even, I think, a little bit better than the previous one. I'm about maybe 40, 50% of the way through. It's just absolutely it's all I want to do. It's the thing taking up most of my mental real estate right now. What?
Well, yeah, I hope not, because we got to do the podcast here.
It's all I can think about right now.
You got to put it back to the back of the mind right now.
I'm going to put it on the back burner, but no, that's what I've been mostly focusing on. Also, finished The Sopranos over the break.
Yeah, this has been a goal of you for 2022. Yeah. So did you fit it in just before the new year?
I did. I wrapped it up. The ending was, I get it. I understand it. I'm not going to do a whole dissertation. I get it. I understand it. I thought that it was appropriate given the characters and the story and the tenor of the situation. But I also think that it kind of sucked a little bit.
Yeah, the infamous cut to black.
Yeah.
For the Sopranos finale.
Yeah. So I get it. Narratively, I find it interesting. I find it engaging. It makes sense for the characters and their trajectories, but I still didn't like it.
There you go.
I don't like it. It's interesting, but I thought it could have. It left me in the moment. It left me wanting a little bit more. But as I sit and reflect on it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense.
I always took it as he got killed.
Yeah,
I think
you were saying that's your interpretation. Of it.
because the screen cuts straight, it's a hard cut to black. To me, that's like a hitman putting two in the back of his head.
Right. There is a good deal of, it being left open to interpretation because it just, it does.
Nobody's going to know. Yeah.
Nobody's going to know. And I like the fact that it stops, it's playing the song Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Yes.
Right. And it stops.
At Don't
Stop. And then it stops. And it makes
Don't stop.
And then it cuts to black. And a few things go through my mind right now. Right. So, Tony is the type of person who doesn't know how to stop. Right? So are we supposed to take that as like don't stop believing? Because it leaves off the believing part. It just says don't stop. Are we left to believe that he's continuing in his ne'er-do-well ways? Is he just going to, despite any kind of risk to self and family, is he just going to keep doing what he's been doing? And just like a broken record? Don't stop. Is it supposed to be a commentary on trying to achieve the American dream? There's a little bit of that going on the last season. I don't know.
There's a lot of the episode titles are references.
Yeah, and the final episode was Made in America.
Yep.
So are we supposed to take it as a romantic view towards doing anything for family, or are we supposed to take it as there was also an equally compelling subplot of Tony's whole seeking therapy, right, and how that kind of flamed out in the end. Right?
Yeah.
So, it leaves a lot of room for interpretation and personal spin to it, which I
it's
like.
Very divided. Some people hated it, some people love it. I think it sounds to me you're on the side you don't like it.
I'm torn. I've been going back and forth the past week about whether or not I actually like it or whether or not I'm just convincing myself that I like it by talking about the how it makes sense for the characters and narrative, because
Yeah.
you can think it makes sense, but still not like the way that it ended.
Right. So yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
one of those series. There's a
Very-
lot of there's a lot of TV shows that don't end well. It's tough.
really hard to stick a landing.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I think I can count on one hand the number of shows that have actually done it.
Yeah. So
So
there you go. That's Mike's brief review.
that was a lot. But what have you been up to, Rich? I know you've been also very busy.
Yes. Rachel and I got a puppy.
Woo! Yeah.
So that's a Christmas puppy.
And this is your first time owning a dog, or
Yes.
like an extended time with a dog. You decided to jump straight into the deep end.
Oh boy,
Brand
did
new
I.
puppy.
Boy, did I. Yeah, because the moment we got the puppy, Rachel got an ear infection. So all of a sudden, the dude that has no experience with dogs and puppies whatsoever, I had to take care of a puppy, like pretty much like just on my own.
Because she was the dog point person.
Yes.
You're like the backup quarterback. You're like, I'm just like cruising on the bench. I'm having a good
No,
time.
I'm like the practice string quarter. I'm the practice squad. Like I don't know.
You're the guy collecting and scuffing up the balls. Like, here you go, Mr. Brady. Here you go, Mr. Brady.
Yeah. Let me deflate those for you.
Let me deflate those for you. And then all of a sudden they throw you in with a helmet.
Yeah. Whoops. But no, it was great. It's still great. I'm just a little sleep deprived because basically you always have to keep an eye on the puppy.
It's like
at
a
all
newborn
times.
infant, right?
Y-
Like it's
yeah,
every
you
like
gotta-
couple of hours.
Yeah.
You gotta like walk and feed and
I mean, and you got to train, you're trying to train how, you want the dog to go outside, to train him to get used to the house,
yeah.
train him to trust you. It takes a lot. So, yeah, that pretty much took up most of my time. Although the good part, though, was Penny, that's what we're calling the new dog, Penny, is very much a nice snuggle buddy
Nice.
when it comes to binging TV.
Perfect.
And I got the burst right through Andor. I caught up on Andor because I missed the boat when it came out.
I keep forgetting to watch that. So how was it? I gave my review. You give your review.
So Andor is wonderfully shot. There's great references to the original trilogy,
Well, I'm sensing a big butt here coming up.
but
There it is.
I don't know if it's necessary. It's just I'm gonna view it as
Is
it's
this a
just-
solo?
No, it's better than Solo.
Okay. Okay.
Solo pissed me off because that
Okay.
was just generic space heist, and they
Right.
slapped.
The Star Wars logo on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that movie could have been told. That story in Solo could have been told 20 different ways outside of Star Wars.
Is this like Book of Boba Fett then unnecessary? Like enjoyable but completely irrelevant, or like how is it unnecessary?
Well, basically, do you want to know exactly how the rebellion gets its foothold and gets started?
So it's that story. kinda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cassian Andor, it goes into his story, which is also kind of weird. Like he's only the main character of Rogue One.
yeah.
Like
And
Rogue One was a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I loved
Right.
Rogue One. But it is kind of like, why choose that guy out of all the characters and all the movies? We're gonna dedicate 12 episodes to this guy.
They're choosing some odd secondary characters like Boba Fett, Cassian Andor.
No. See, you underrate Boba
No,
Fett.
I
makes
rate
sense.
him accurately. The dude had like 4 lines in the original trilogy.
But people love the mysticism and the mystery of Boba Fett.
That's
that makes
why
sense
they
to me.
switched main characters halfway through
They
that
did.
season.
Right. You should leave it as a mystery. I'm with. No. Don't get me wrong.
You're with me on that part.
Yeah. Now you're confusing two different things. Boba Fett as the mystery bounty hunter works
Right.
as a great character. Should you devote an entire show to him? I don't think so, but I get the logic behind it.
Okay.
Cassian Andor is like, great character in Rogue One, but you're like, does he need 12 episodes? But what they do is they kind of tie it into the actual, like, how does the rebellion actually like get a foothold? How do you get people to actually take the rebellion seriously? Because
Okay.
the Empire at this point in the universe, it's like 25 years after Revenge of the Sith. So the Empire has its foothold now.
Right.
So it's like, how do you get people to believe in an actual rebellion against a galactic empire? And I thought that part was really cool. I wish it kind of went heavier into that.
Okay.
But there are some aspects you're just like, I don't know if this is needed. Like, it was a good show. the shot, the direction and the style of how it was shot is really cool. There's some serious themes in it too, which I dig. I like kind of pushing the envelope with more mature themes,
Okay.
especially coming from Disney. Like, go ahead, I like it. But at the same time, it's like I don't know if it's pure. I think it's pure bonus material.
It's weird to me that they're doing kind of like a prequel to a prequel.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
Like, would it not have been better to focus on a completely unique character and story if you're going to go the prequel of a prequel route? Because then what do? Pick a secondary character from Andor and do a prequel to a prequel to a prequel? Like where? Like
They
where,
may. I
where
don't
is
know
it-
if they want to.
Where does the nesting doll stop?
If they want to keep churning series out, why not? Yeah. So I don't know. They could take advantage of that.
That part seemed awkward to me.
But for what it is, I liked it. I enjoyed it. If you're a Star Wars fan and you've got some time and you're looking for a show to a show to binge and burn, I say go for it.
Okay.
I think you'll at least enjoy it if you're a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
But is it necessary must watch? No. So that would be my 5 cents. I don't know. I gave you inflation hit hard.
Oh man, I'm
it's now
telling
up
you,
to 5 cents.
5 cents. He's over here giving us 5 cents. Everybody else is doing 2 cents, and he's won 5 cents.
Yeah. All right. We got to adjust for inflation here.
Man, all right.
All right. So there you go. That's
After a very expensive introduction.
there you go. That's what we've been up to. Yes, because we did not get a chance to do a podcast last week, so it's been a while. But nevertheless, here we are, ready to go with our first podcast of 2023. So let's launch into the sports. Let's launch into the news at hand, and the first batch.
Oh man, are you going to be okay?
I don't know. I'm still sleep deprived from the puppy.
Well, you know what you need? You need something to chew on. Let's get it started with a little sampling of some sports news in the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
There you go. Sports coming at you in your face. Thank you, Mike, for the assist.
No problem. This is a tough one.
Yeah, this is obviously I think everybody knows what we're going to at least address here, the elephant in the room here for the NFL. And this is also a reason why we're going to bump up the release of this episode, because there may be information that comes out from the time that we record late on Tuesday night to whenever we get the episode out, because this is probably going to be a situation that changes fluidly. The Damar Hamlin injury during Monday Night Football, the Bills-Bengals game. I mean, this was gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching stuff to watch. I mean, this was I was I was finishing up Andor at the time, and I just happened to be checking my phone and I just heard just something happened at the game, and I'm like, what could have possibly happened at the game? And I switched my input from the streaming to the live TV, and just saw the news headline pop up that Hamlin just wasn't responsive, had to be rushed out of there. Game was being temporarily delayed.
Right.
They didn't call it at that point. But man, this was just the worst case scenario on every level. To see a player just go out, bam, like not even not a thumbs up, no nothing. I mean, this was the most serious injury that has ever happened.
Very, very
in
scary stuff.
The NFL.
Yeah, unprecedented. What happened? So I was not watching, but my parents actually called me like, "You got to turn on Monday Night Football. Something's happening." And so I picked it up, maybe 5-10 minutes after the initial incident. What happened is Bills defensive back Damar Hamlin had a pretty routine, hit. It was hard,
on T. Higgins.
On T. Higgins, it wasn't a big. It was a big hit, but it wasn't like anything out of the ordinary.
No, we've seen far worse.
Far, far worse. It was a very routine hit. He goes down, immediately gets back up, and then that's the scary part. Just completely ragdolls after standing up. And
Yeah, that's how you know that injury was internally. Like
Right.
he was getting back up, like I'm ready to go for the next play, and boom, just
right. He got up. He
collapses.
got up like he was fine, like any defender does. They make a hit, they jump back up, and then immediately goes back down, and not like goes to his knees, but completely flops over, and they rush out the medical staff. The unprecedented part is that they perform CPR on him for almost 10 minutes on the field, including using a defibrillator.
Yeah.
So, suffered cardiac arrest on the field from the hit. Very rare phenomenon where if you get hit at the same exact time as like the electrical pulse in your circulatory system, it stops the whole system.
Yeah.
It's very rare. It happens occasionally. We've just never seen it during a football game.
No.
Much less have to have CPR and defibrillators brought out onto the field. The scariest part was watching the reactions of the other players.
Yeah.
There was a scene of Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, the two quarterbacks, standing next to each other, just absolutely ashen. Their faces, eyes, like it looked like traumatized. Really, really sad stuff. Had to be transported by an ambulance to the hospital where he's put on a breathing tube. As of recording, he's still in critical condition. They're lessening the amount of oxygen he needs, but still have him on a ventilator.
That's
It's very, very concerning. They're concerned about damage to the lungs, and of course, with heart stoppage for that long, neurological issues.
Yeah. Because if there's no brain function,
It's very, very scary stuff.
yeah.
The NFL did eventually, after an hour, decide to postpone the game,
Yes.
which was a minor controversy the night of.
Yeah, I want to just address this for a second because I actually, I have friends that work in event promotions and
Right.
behind the scenes stuff. There's a reason why it takes that long to postpone a game. There's so many spinning plates that the people behind the scenes have to deal with, especially most importantly with a situation like this, is you have to get the ambulance out of the stadium first.
Yeah.
Think about what would have happened if you immediately just announced like on a billboard, like, okay, game's canceled, go home. Everybody immediately goes to their cars and you start a huge traffic jam
Yeah.
before the ambulance can even get its way downtown to the hospital. There's so many things that you have to consider before you actually, say the game's canceled or postponed. You may leave the stadium. You can't have it be like, I don't know what people are expecting. The people that are outraged at this, I don't understand what you're expecting. Are you expecting the NFL? Are you expecting Roger Goodell to just like fly from the owner's booth and be like, "Oh, yep, everyone go home, bye"? Like, no, that's not how this works. They have to follow through the protocols of the parking, the employees, the NFL, the coaching staffs, the security. There's so many spinning plates that have to be addressed before you can even actually make a proclamation of a postponement.
The biggest concern, and you pointed it out correctly, the biggest concern is getting the ambulance out of the area first.
Right.
Because with any major sporting event, anybody that's been down to South Philly for any kind of game, that when those games let out, it's chaos.
Yeah, you're not getting home soon.
And that's when the SEPTA authorities, the police, the roads, the stadium staff are prepared for it. Could you imagine letting out?
They're not prepared.
Could you imagine letting out Lincoln Financial Field 2 hours early without the police, SEPTA, and stadium staff prepared for it?
Yeah.
Could you imagine what that would look like at the sports complex?
Like, I don't understand why. I don't understand what the people complaining about this are expecting.
I think what people are complaining about is the fact that they were reporting on it the whole time. The ambulance had left, and it still took them some time to make an announcement. I mean, I guess people wanted them to at least acknowledge the fact that they're not going back out on the field, maybe hold the fans in the stadium until they had a chance to organize things. I think, or at least put out some kind of statement or some kind of acknowledgement. What bothered me was the showing of ads throughout the whole thing. That's what kind of bothered me. And I know it's there's contracts in place or you have ad time. It's just really.
But you also too, Mike. You need a break. Like
you do.
like
You do.
like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, they needed just like a minute to just like I don't know how you even like keep going.
It's true. They did have to vamp for
Yeah.
a long time and saying basically nothing over and over again, kind of like we do here.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah,
If we can do it, they can do it. But
they get paid.
no, I get that there has to be breaks, but maybe I don't know. You cut over to a different sport or something. I mean, going from this kid fighting for his life to a Burger King ad, have it your way, Whopper. Like it was just really, I don't know, something just.
That doesn't bother me, especially considering earlier in 2022.
Yeah, you pointed that out.
Oh my God, it's so good. John Oliver plays it all the time. The fact that they
Going to what did you say? Applebee's
yeah
ads.
the night that Russia invaded Ukraine with the bombs, with the air raid sirens that bombed over Kiev. Yeah, they showed the bombs hitting, and then it was like, all right, we gotta go to a break. We'll be right back to report on this important story. And it goes right to Applebee's, like, I'm a little bit country, gonna have some ribs.
You know what?
Come on down.
But here's the thing, though. If you're one of these, I know everybody's like, oh, you got to get those ad dollars. If I'm Burger King, I'm like, please don't show my ad when a 24-year-old is fighting for his life, or Applebee's like, don't show my ad when people are being bombed. Like, I don't want people to be like, oh, you know what I could go for after the bombing?
Yeah, some
half
nice
off
Applebee's.
Appetizers.
Woo!
Nobody.
It is a little late. Yeah, we can get some late night
Honestly,
appetizers.
If I were Applebee's, I'd be a little annoyed if something like that happened. But
a little bit country, have some ribs. Woo!
it just made me appreciate, after
Friday night, you're gonna have some ribs.
after going streaming, it made me appreciate how awkward and tasteless ads are during live broadcasts. It's a very weird thing.
Yeah.
But back to the thing that matters most, and to Damar Hamlin, the only thing that we can really say is that it's moments like this that remind you of the humanity of the game like this. We tend to think of these players as machines, right? Their stats, their numbers, all that stuff, but they are still humans, right? And like some things transcend the game, and it's not about the game right now. It's about the individual, right? Who's going through something awful, and all his teammates who are also going through something awful. And that's why I personally think that they should not reschedule this game. I think that even though I hate ties, I think they should call it and just list it as a tie for both teams. And I mean, playoff scenario be damned. Both these teams are going to make it anyway. They can duke it out in a couple of weeks. Right now, that's not what's important. What's important is making sure this kid is healthy, making sure that all those players that witnessed this are taken care of as well. So I think, if people were angry about the postponement, that may be misplaced anger. If anything, I think that people should be more concerned about whether or not the NFL turns around and forces these teams to try and play again.
Yeah, and that must mean a lot coming from Mikey, because Mikey hates the idea of ties.
I don't like ties, but at a certain point, you're like, you know what? This is really just a game.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just a game. And the Bills at 12-3, I'm going to get a little football here. The Bills at 12-3, they don't need it. First, I mean, sure, home field advantage will be nice, but they're good enough that they can play without it.
Yeah.
So it's just a game. The health and safety of the players is more important. But to end on a positive note, I do want to point out that Damar Hamlin has a fundraiser on GoFundMe for a toy drive that he started before he entered the NFL, had a goal of $2,500. At the time of recording, it's over 2.5 or 5.2 million.
You're wrong number there.
Wrong number.
Flip that number.
Yeah, sorry. 2,500 was the goal. It's now over $5.2 million. So the outpouring of support and for this kid, his family, and his fundraiser is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah. But we're all hoping that Damar Hamlin comes through in this, but I have to imagine he's going to have some sort of lasting damage. And
if I were him, I would take whatever guaranteed money I have and just walk away from the game.
It's a very scary experience. And something else that's going to have to be addressed too is how do actually other players come back and play? Like, how are we going to actually have the games on Sunday?
Yeah.
Or, there's going to be some hesitancy to go step back on that field.
Definitely. And that was it's going to be really tough for some of these players. And, you can imagine those first couple of games on Saturday and Sunday are going to be a little strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really, really sad to see this happen. Completely unprecedented. So I can't remember in my lifetime anything like this happening.
No. Nothing like this has ever happened in the NFL. I mean, not recently.
You always see big hits, but you always see like them, on the stretcher with the thumbs up.
Yeah, that always means something because
Yeah.
at least they're alert. They're
Right. They
they're
have some
somewhat
kind of
with it.
movement. Yeah, something. But this, I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
No.
In like 20 years of watching football, more than 20 years.
Yeah, it's very shocking and kind of puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
But we're all wishing Damar Hamlin a safe and speedy recovery, and just we're our thoughts and prayers are I know that's all so cliche.
It's so cliche, but
really
we can't do anything else other than just
it's
send out positive thoughts.
yeah, it's just one of the most shocking things that we've ever seen on a football field.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, we're going to go back to the news topics that we had in mind before the Monday night game now at this point. So prior to the Monday night football game tragedy at that Bills-Bengals game, what we originally were going to talk about was our hometown Eagles losing back-to-back games, once against the hated Dallas Cowboys, and the other one against the Saints that could have helped the Philadelphia Eagles draft position since they own the Saints pick in 2023. So this really hurt, but primarily it's more of a bad sign because Jalen Hurts was not involved in either of these two games, and it is clear that this team is missing its MVP quarterback.
Yeah, it might be interesting that for so long I've been resisting calling Jalen Hurts the guy every week that he's played, but maybe it's the 2 weeks he didn't play that might have convinced me he's the guy.
Yeah.
Here in heading into week 18, this might be it because it's a completely different team without Jalen Hurts.
No.
I mean, night and day. Just the simple things that he was able to do, 4th and 1, quarterback
oh my
sneaks,
gosh,
making those quick throws, those the chemistry and the timing and the reading of the defense. Like there were mistakes that Minshew was making. I mean, how many interceptions? I think it was like 5 or 6 over 2 games.
Yep.
I mean, the turnovers just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
With Minshew in there.
And the pick 6 killed them in that Saints game.
I think it was 4 turnovers against the Cowboys.
Yep. Can't win. You can't win games with that.
I mean, Jalen Hurts only has, I think 4 interceptions on the season total. Something like that. And in one game we had 4 turnovers. It was awful. But the thing that upsets me the most about these 2 games is the fact that we had a sure situation in which all we had to do was win one of our last 3. And now, of course, it's the final one becomes the must-win game. And that puts a lot of pressure on this team. Jalen Hurts has to come back from his shoulder injury. Meanwhile, injuries are continuing to pile up elsewhere on the roster. Defensive end Josh Sweat, cornerback Avonte Maddox, safety Gardner Johnson. Lane Johnson.
That's the big one.
Even our starting punter is out. I mean, we can't catch a break anywhere.
Yeah, Lane Johnson, though, that's a huge injury. I mean, the win percentage of this team goes down significantly when he's not starting on the offensive line.
I mean, one of the best at his position. And, from what I understand, from the reports that I've seen, most of these guys should be back in time for the playoffs if we get the bye week.
Uh-oh.
And that's a big if right now because we have to go out and win against the Giants, which I think is possible if Jalen Hurts plays. If he does not, I'm a little concerned. And that means that we have to go and we have
a little? That's it?
Very concerned.
Yeah.
Man, I was just very, very shocked that we lost both of these games, especially against the Saints.
The Saints, they should have been able to handle. They got off to a slow start, and they couldn't get their footing back.
It's very frustrating because we did not utilize the ground game as much as we should have with a backup quarterback.
Yeah. I don't understand that game plan.
Not at all. I mean, Miles Sanders was productive, and they just didn't run it nearly enough. What was the final score? Like 20-10?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
7 of those points came on the pick six.
Yep.
So, I mean,
it was a 13-10 game.
It was a 13-10 game. It's, that's easily winnable. Our defense showed up.
Yeah.
Essentially held the Saints to 13 points.
Missed
across,
opportunity.
Completely. If you win that game, you can go into this last week 18 and just sit everybody.
Right. And instead, now we got to bring back Hurts needs to come back in this game.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Hurts misses this game because you need everybody that, anybody that can play has to be in this game so that they get the bye week.
Knowing
you cannot have this team lose 3 straight games to close out the season.
And
they do that, it's already over.
Knowing the competitor that he is, he's probably sitting there more pissed than anybody that he's not out there.
Yeah.
So if he's even remotely possible for playing, I think he's going to try to push to be out there.
Oh yeah, he should. This is one of those you gotta. Are you all in this season? If you are, you got to put Hurts in.
I think, given the talent in the rest of the NFL, I think the Eagles need to do whatever they can. This could be another serious run deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, but they got to get this game right. And right now, as of recording on Tuesday night, we have not heard a definite answer on if Hurts is starting. So I would imagine he's going to start, but it's not guaranteed.
They want to keep it close to the vest for the time being. You know, give the Giants as little to go on as possible.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if I'm the Giants, I would just sit everybody. They've already locked up a playoff spot.
No, it's a division.
The game doesn't matter. They should sit everyone. No, listen, Giants
they're not going to
sit them.
That.
Send out the third stringers. See what the young guys can do. See what the rookies can do.
No,
sit them all.
No, no, especially the Giants too. I bet you they're gonna,
no, they want to play spoiler.
Yeah, yep. That would really just hurt.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, you know what? Instead of hemming and hawing and thinking about it, let's actually talk about it. Let's talk about the Fantastic Four picks for Week 18. That's right. We're heading into the final week of the regular season, and we have some great games lined up this week. First off, we have a win and in situation in the AFC South. It's the Tennessee Titans traveling to Jacksonville to face off against the Jaguars. This is a Saturday night game. That's Saturday night. Rich, who do you have in this one?
Well, you pointed out to me before the show the Titans are on a massive, 6-game losing streak?
6-game losing streak.
Oh, my gosh. And Ryan Tannehill is hurt. Malik Jackson's probably not going to start this one either. I think so. They're down to their third-string quarterback, too. I don't know. It's just the Titans, they are declining to end the season. Meanwhile, Jaguars are hitting their stride. Dougie P, man, he knows what to do with young quarterbacks.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he took Trevor Lawrence and turned him around.
Yeah, and I like the way they're playing. Why not? Jaguars, take the division, baby. Saturday night. Go for it.
Well, how about the fact that they've quietly crept up statistically to the 7th overall offense?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the Jacksonville came out of
Dougie
nowhere.
P, he's the quarterback whisperer.
And these teams are doing, the Titans are doing exactly what you don't want to do and have this massive losing streak heading into the last week. Jacksonville's been turning around the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Really hitting their stride exactly when you want to during the season. I think it's Jacksonville all the way. Tennessee, I said it earlier in the year that their window was closed. It is closed. It's locked. It's shuttered. The window's gone. They plastered over it. It's a wall now. They got no option at quarterback. They're running. Derrick Henry's about to be gassed over the next year and a half. It's Jacksonville all the way.
All right.
Next up, we have an AFC East rivalry. It's the New York Jets traveling to Miami to face off against the Dolphins. If the Dolphins win, they're in. I think if they lose, then this amazing season will be for naught. Rich, what do you see happening here? The Jets are eliminated, but they can still play spoiler.
Yes, they can. And, man, just the Jets, another team that had a massive collapse at the second half of the season.
Stunning collapse.
Yeah, just couldn't put together a full season.
They were also 7-4, just like the Titans.
They were 7-4, yeah.
Just like the Titans.
Nope. Jets are gonna jet. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's just a team that they just can't have a good quarterback situation. It's not meant to be in that franchise. Dolphins have had quarterback problems as well, but I trust Teddy Bridgewater. If he's able to start, I would trust him to take care of business in this. Plus, I mean, whoever is the quarterback for the Dolphins, they still will have Tyreek Hill.
Who just casually has about 1,700 receiving yards on the year.
Yeah. So at the very least, he'll at least spread the defense out so somebody will get open. So I would rather go with the team that has Tyreek Hill than not, which I think lends the decision that Dolphins win this one.
Yeah, I will say this about the Jets, that it's really sad to see because that defense is phenomenal. I mean, one of the best defenses in the league.
Next year. Give it to next year, I think, might be their year to shine.
If they find a semi-average quarterback and keep their running back healthy, that team will make the playoffs next year.
Yeah, but those are two big ifs for the Jets.
Those are two big ifs. They like to do this quarterback carousel thing. And while the quarterback carousel is spinning round and round, I think the Dolphins are going to throw straight over it. You got to go with the home team here, the team that has, semi-reliable quarterbacks. I think it's the Dolphins. I think they win and they get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think they're that final seed. Next up, we have a battle in the North and a battle for a playoff spot. Two teams on the bubble in the NFC. The Detroit Lions are traveling to Green Bay to face off against the Packers. This is a Sunday primetime game. Rich, who do you have winning this one?
This is a weird decision to flex as the last game of the season.
Yeah, right?
But the storyline is that if the Packers win, no matter what happens, they're in as the last wild card team. If the Lions win, then either they're playing spoiler or they are in the playoffs if Seattle loses earlier in the day. So it's weird. The Lions are going to know their fate going into this Sunday night game. Man. It's tough. Lions are a team that they're hitting their stride at the right time as well. They're on a good winning streak, but the Packers, they're turning it on at the right time as well. And Aaron Rodgers on a hot winning streak. I think he's also pissed off too. I think a lot of people, including me, wrote him off in the first half of the season when he wasn't putting up the numbers that he's used to doing in his back-to-back MVP seasons. And the Packers have transformed actually into a different team than what we're used to. They rely more now on Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon than they do actually Aaron Rodgers, which may be beneficial for a tight divisional game with a playoff spot on the line. I would like the storyline to be the Lions making the playoffs, but I think the Packers still get it done in Lambeau on a Sunday night to end the season.
This is so tough because both these teams, I see them as fairly equal. Both, last 5 games are 4-1, beating tough teams on both sides. They both beat the Vikings. They both beat Chicago, division opponent. The Lions also surprisingly beat the Jacksonville Jaguars recently. I mean, they've been beating good teams. I just really like the Detroit Lions here. I know their defense is abysmal, but their offense is incredible. And the Packers are only average in the offensive and defensive categories. They're perfectly middle of the road with everything. I just really like the story of the Lions. They are riding high right now. There's something to be said about momentum. And I think that, as much as people wrote off Aaron Rodgers, I think people wrote off the Lions even more.
Yeah, that's true.
And now the Lions, I mean, there's the coaches there are doing something inspirational. I mean, they have those players whipped up into a frenzy.
Biting the kneecaps.
Yeah, biting the kneecaps. That's right. Go low. When they go high, you go low.
Yeah, bite those kneecaps.
Flip it around. Also, I love their running back, who is just absolutely a huge fan of Pokemon. It's hilarious to hear him talk about it. I don't know. It's just something I've seen videos of him talking about Pokemon. He was talking to reporters like, you guys are keeping me here. All I want to do is go home and play Pokemon. You know what? That guy has his priorities straight. I'm going with the Lions.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
We'll see.
Solely because that guy likes Pokemon.
All right, we'll see who makes the playoffs there.
And finally, we have our very own hometown Philadelphia Eagles playing host to the New York Giants, coming into town for a 4:25 game on Sunday. Rich, did the Eagles get it done and lock up the number one seed?
They got to. If they lose this game and they finish the season on a 3-game losing streak and then have to be a visiting team on the road in the playoffs, they're done. That's one of the biggest collapses in NFC East history. They got to win. They don't win, the season's over.
This is a must-win.
Yeah.
It's 100% a must-win. We handled the Giants pretty well earlier in the year, 48-22. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to do it again. If we get Hurts back, I think we can. If we don't, it's going to be a tough game, but you just got to hope. I mean, just rolling the dice here. 13-3. What are the odds they lose 3 in a row? You know, they are gonna right the ship at some point.
I don't know. They're at 2.
These players and this coaching staff this season has been too good in order to let them fall in 3 straight matchups. I think they got it. They have to have it.
They have to. They don't, the season's over. Right there.
So, Eagles.
Yeah. All right, and there you go. That's our fantastic 4 picks for the final week of the NFL season. Wow. That was a fast season, wasn't it?
Really was. Time flies when you're having fun and you're 13-3.
Yeah. We got one more thing to talk about because we haven't.
Oh, okay.
Because we haven't done a show in 2 weeks. Moving away from football, there was slightly big golf news that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I completely forgot about this.
Yeah, I know, because this happened like the day after we recorded our last show for the year.
Of course, and that was like 2 full weeks ago.
Yeah, so that always happens. But Augusta has announced that while they are, quote, disappointed in the LIV Tour splitting golf into 2 factions, they said that they will allow the golfers from the LIV Tour to play at the Masters Championship in 2023. But they will also say that it will be on a year-by-year analysis as to whether or not this will be the case for future tournaments moving forward. So what do you think of this proclamation? I think it is so just sneaky power move because they get the best of both worlds and they get to still keep the threat of, disbarring the LIV Tour if they want to.
They're trying. So my take on this is they're not disappointed at all. No, seriously, they're like, oh, we're so disappointed. We're so heartbroken. No, you're not. They are ecstatic right now because they're playing both sides of the fence.
Yep.
Right now, they get to be all honorable. Oh, we're so disappointed that this rapscallion upstart is ruining
this rebel alliance,
the noble sport of golf. But if we have to, we will continue to be noble and allow all to play this treasured game. BS. They are making themselves the center of golf talk every single year. Will they, won't they? Everybody loves a good will they, won't they plot line. It's the reason why The Office was so successful in the U.S. And that's what Augusta is doing here. It's a will they, won't they. Are they Pam or are they Jim? I don't know. We have to tune in and find out. Barf.
You're also wearing a Dunder Mifflin shirt.
Oh, yeah,
so that's a perfect tie-in there. That was a good tie-in.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
But no, on a serious note, this works out well for Augusta in every imaginable way. And it puts all of the responsibility back on the PGA to decide what to do. I think in a really smart way because it keeps Augusta's hands clean, and it lets them keep on raking in money and featuring the best golfers. This is what I always said was going to happen because it was the only move that made sense.
Yep.
And now the PGA is just screwed. They just have to live with it, and it completely legitimizes LIV and delegitimizes PGA.
Or at the very minimum,
or shows that they have a crack in the armor.
Yeah, at the very minimum outtake, it shows that the PGA is toothless. There's really nothing they can do about it. If Saudi Arabia wants to pour all this money into the LIV Tour, there's nothing you can do to stop them.
Augusta punted, and dropped them inside the 5.
But right, I like that. But drop them inside of the 5 because guess what? They can still come back next year And if Live Tour, I don't know, does something that is really egregious or something,
Yeah.
then they can, make their, make a decision to get rid of them if they want.
Right.
I love specifically they put in that this is going to be a year-by-year basis.
It kind of keeps Live in check, but it also keeps the PGA in check.
Yeah.
Because before it was a foregone conclusion. Everybody's going to be there because everybody was just PGA. Now, all of a sudden, Augusta realizes they have the power,
Yeah.
not the PGA.
And they're going to keep
because
it.
here's the thing, it cuts both ways because it's invitation, right?
Right.
So if they're saying, well, we could say no to Live, read between the lines, that also means they can say no to who?
The PGA.
Whoever
yeah.
they want to.
Anybody. Yep, anybody. So
it's kind of putting everybody on alert like, hey, this is our show, not yours.
yeah, we don't take orders.
We don't take orders, right? Because PGA is like, oh, we're going to boycott. No, you're not.
No.
No, you're not.
No. Especially if Liv is actually going to go.
Shut up and putt.
There you go.
Put
Hashtag,
that on a t-shirt. Oh, copyright.
yeah, hashtag shut up and putt. I like
That's
that.
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shut up and putt.
We're going to sell those t-shirts soon.
Yeah,
Shut up and putt. Mikey Costanzo 2023.
I like it.
Oh yeah. All right. Make that a note. We're going to make that a t-shirt or a bumper sticker or something.
Everything.
Yeah.
Mugs.
Put it on everywhere.
Mugs, stickers, everything.
Yeah, put it everywhere. Shut up. Hashtag shut up and putt. Mikey doing golf in 2023. But for right now, we got to end it there. All the sports news that we wanted to get to there. Don't go anywhere, though, after the break because we got a little bit of entertainment news. And I've got an odd news story for you that you need to hear, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby,
Barnes & Noble,
and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 a.m, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip is already coming into play.
yes,
I love it.
already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on? That was
I don't
weird.
know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Basically, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh my God.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to. Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart
and-
once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine what medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder.
Oh.
I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Oh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle podcast. We had a lot of sports news to get to. Became the sports dinner, unfortunately. Sometimes, that happens. We have more topics.
Sometimes you get carried away.
Right. You order a lot in the first part of the meal.
Yeah.
But, that means we'll have some speedy topics here in entertainment and the odd news. So let's launch into the second part of the show here. It's time for the entertainment entree. If it'll load.
Wow.
There we go.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap at the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, there we go. We're officially now 100% into entertainment entree territory, and we're going to kick it off with a segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this first weekend of the 2023 year. So let's launch into Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you have for the people?
All right, first up is in movies, Women Talking is a new drama hitting theaters this week. The premise is, in 2010, 8 women from an isolated Mennonite colony grapple with reconciling their reality with their faith after it is revealed that men from their community drugged and raped the community's women at night for years. It's
What a cheery topic to start the year off.
Look, I said it was a drama.
Okay.
It's a very serious drama. It's done well with critics so far as a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes with an average rating of 8.2 out of 10. And it's vying for some awards consideration. It's pushing for Best Picture. It's pushing for Best Director
Is
as
it
well.
Still within the range?
It technically released last year in September and late in December. It had a limited release.
Okay, so
I think it's getting a wider release this week.
Got it.
So yeah, still technically counts, and they are vying for some Oscars nominations. So keep your eyes out on this one. It could potentially make a late push. In television, there's a unique drama premiering on Netflix this week, Kaleidoscope. A master thief and his crew attempt an epic heist worth $7 billion, but betrayal, greed, and other threats undermine their plans. Now, what makes this heist story unique is the way the story is told. Viewers can watch any of the 8 episodes in any order because the story is non-linear. Each Netflix user is presented with a different order of episodes, so everyone's viewing experience is different.
I heard about this concept. This seems crazy.
It seems crazy. The only constant is you have to watch the season or the series finale last. The episode titled White is the last episode, but any of the other 7 you can watch in any order. And there's a lot of posts online going around. This is the preferred viewing order. No, this is the one you should watch it in. So it's creating a lot of buzz. Critically, it's not doing well. I think that may be because of the non-linearity of the story. So I'll leave it up to you guys. Go check it out. That's Kaleidoscope on Netflix. I think just for the unique premise and viewing method, I think it's worth giving it a shot.
Yeah.
And finally, in video games, a new month equals new free games for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold subscribers. PlayStation gamers get Jedi Fallen Order this month, which is perfect in order to get ready for Jedi Survivor, releasing in March of this year.
Yes, great game.
If you haven't played Fallen Order, absolutely fantastic. I think it's probably the best Star Wars game ever made. Like traditional Jedi combat.
Yeah, I would say it's the best Star Wars game to come out since Battlefront 2, and I'm talking about the old Battlefront 2,
the old one, right? Not
on
the new
PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
it was definitely a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. So it's free for PlayStation gamers. Go check it out, and that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, Mikey, thank you for that segment this week in entertainment. I want to talk about something that I saw on the YouTubes. One of my favorite YouTube channels is RedLetterMedia. I love the content they put out. They're so, it just makes me laugh every video that they put out. Their most recent video is, I think, well worth your time. I think it's actually one of their shorter videos because it's only like 25 minutes. They usually do like an hour video, but this one's only 25 minutes. And they review this weird fad that seems to be happening. I call it a fad. I don't think this is going to stay around. I could be wrong. But this trend that is happening with speculation in the VHS collectible market.
Okay.
Apparently, if you have sealed copies of, certain VHS tapes, and they can be graded as mint condition, then you could sell these for ridiculous prices. And what really has turned the gas stove on full high with this trend is in the last month or two, a sealed copy of The Goonies went to auction and sold for $50,000.
I mean, it's a good movie, but
yeah,
$50,000.
Yeah, for a VHS tape, I don't know. And a sealed copy of Back to the Future, and that was graded in mint condition, was also sold at $75,000.
Okay, again, another good movie, but we're talking about house down payments here.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
This is like huge sums of money.
Right. So if you want to, I would highly recommend you check out this video. The first half of this 25-minute video that Red Letter Media put out is they actually go into, what actually makes something valuable in a speculation market,
Right.
Rarity, importance, the word that I was looking for earlier with you, provenance. Was there a unique story attached to this item in particular? Demand, scarcity.
Right.
There are all these factors that are at play, and they go over them one at a time in the first half of this video, and kind of gives a little bit of a bird's eye view why these things would go for that that amount of money. But the second half of the video, they review a movie that's a very old B movie called Nuki, which is an atrocious alien movie. It's like a knockoff E.T. Just not
It's
worth
kinda like
anybody's.
have you ever seen Mac and Me?
It's worse than that. It's not
It's
even
worse than
at least
that?
At least Mac and Me. There's funny things that make you laugh, especially the clip that Paul Rudd always used on Conan.
Yeah.
Nuki has no redeeming value to it.
I gotta watch this movie now. Anyway.
So anyway, they made it a joke that they were going to review this movie, and the fans of Red Letter Media kept bombarding them with old VHS copies of Nuki whenever they found them at flea markets and other trade shows and everything. And they made a note that they had probably the largest collection of Nuki VHS tapes in the world, because they had something like over 100 copies of this horrible B movie that very few people have heard of, Nuki. But what they decided to do was, we could have a little experiment here. And brilliantly, I love the way that they do it in the back half of the episode. They find in their collection a sealed, unopened copy of this Nuki movie. They actually go pay and get it graded, and it came back as near mint. So the condition held.
Right.
It's not open, so so again, adding to the condition. They own the copy, so that adds provenance. That it's the one that they've shown, especially now in this video that went viral.
Right.
The only other thing was scarcity. Unfortunately, they own the other 100 copies of this weird movie. So they decided, as an experiment, to destroy their Nuki collection in hilarious fashion and put the one sealed copy that they have graded on eBay and see if they could actually manipulate the market and get it to sell. And it's gone viral, folks, and I'm happy to say I think it's a success, because right now the most recent bid on eBay for this Red Letter Media sealed, never opened, and officially graded copy of Nuki is at $80,400.
Okay.
That's a lot of money for a obscure VHS tape. Just
I'd buy that for $1.
so, Mike, what do you think about this weird speculative market in the VHS collectible world?
It's super weird.
Yes, it is.
It's super weird because, like, VHSs are kind of trash.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the point is not to watch them, right? But
no, you can't open them, especially once they're sealed and graded.
So I understand the collectible nature of it because you see it a lot in basically everything. You see pieces of technology, you see, Magic and Pokemon cards, you see video games, you see, different Beanie Babies. It's just anything. There's collectibles. Do you remember as a kid, though, the whole fervor over Beanie Babies being valuable?
Yes. Yeah.
So here's the thing that I always find really interesting with things like this is that whenever something starts out with, oh, take good care of it because it could be collectible one day, it usually doesn't end up being that way. It's always like something random.
I think that's a hoarder's excuse to keep things.
Yeah, but it's always like something random, like VHS tapes. Like nobody ever said, don't open your VHS tapes. They might be valuable one day. But everyone was like, don't play with your Pokemon cards. Don't take the tags off your Beanie Babies was a big one for some reason.
Yeah.
Because they could be valuable one day. And they never end up being valuable. So it's just a very bizarre concept to me that people have randomly decided now VHS tapes are the one that is the next big collectible item.
Yeah.
But I get it, though. They are scarce. It is, an antiquated technology, so they're not going to be made anymore. So whatever copies are out there of whatever VHS is, that's it. So like the scarcity, I think, and then the novelty of it is what's really driving it. But to tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
That's the weird part. Like I don't know, man. You're like that's like more valuable than some of these other collectibles that I listed,
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And you can't use them, like even if you bought it for the sake of using it, like you can't actually, the whole thing doesn't make any sense to me. Like I don't know if you're preparing for like the end of the world and you can only have VHSs for some reason on your bunker, you can't use them because
you can't use it because it's valuable.
No, it's actually if you get it graded,
you just break it.
I don't know. You'd have to have a really.
You get a rock and you smash it.
I don't know. The thing like is all sealed up in this.
You
container.
know what's really funny though is.
And there's no guarantee that the tape is actually good. Tape deteriorates.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The really funny part about this is specifically with VHS, you're buying a medium that will one day degrade.
Yeah, it deteriorates.
Like you may spend $80,000 on it, and 20, 30 years from now, not that you're ever going to open it, but it might feasibly turn to dust inside of its casing.
Tape is not meant to hold long.
No. But I want to go back to your point about not being able to open it and watch it, because every time a topic like this comes up, I always think back. There's a story where I had an opportunity as a child to buy a Charizard card. A Charizard card, Pokemon, first generation Charizard card, the holographic one, in a little case at this local comic book shop here in Ambler. It was going for $40.
Yep.
And as an 11-year-old, $40 was a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
like you don't really come into $40 that often as an 11-year-old.
That's probably everything in your piggy bank.
Yeah. So I walked down to the comic shop and I was, getting ready to buy it, and damn my frugality, I decided that I wouldn't buy the Charizard card. Instead, I would buy lots of booster packs because I might get a Charizard card and other stuff. I want a whole bunch of booster packs instead of one singular card. And I think back to that decision. I'm like, man, if I had bought that card and if it was still in that box, it'd be worth thousands of dollars right now. But here's the reality of it. If I had purchased that card at 11, the first thing I would have done is taken it out of its case and shuffled it into my Pokemon deck.
Yeah.
And I would have played with it. And it wouldn't be worth anything now because it'd be tattered and worn and used because it was my favorite Pokemon, right? I remember going to Q-Mart once and buying like these these old 1980s Ghostbusters action figures. And you realize, kid, you can't play with them. What did I do when I got home? I played with them immediately.
Yep.
You know? And that's the thing that always, it always bugs me about this stuff is, I don't know, for some people it might be fun to buy the collectibles and look at them, on the shelf and just know that they have something really unique and different. But for me, the real joy of owning those things is the joy of using them. Could you imagine if you came into possession of a video game that you remember from your childhood that you don't have anymore?
Yeah.
And you loved playing.
Yep.
Mint condition in a box.
Yep.
But you still have the console. You're just going to keep it on a shelf?
Yeah.
You're not going to want to play it? If you got one of those old Star Wars flight sim games and a flight stick and everything, right?
TIE Fighter. I love TIE Fighter.
Yeah, TIE Fighter. Or Star Wars
Star
Wars Battlefront 2. You just mentioned it recently.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 2. Isn't the joy of it reliving it?
Yeah, not
just looking at it on a shelf. I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, is there a joy in just looking at it?
No, I agree with you on that statement. I don't understand why you would waste so much money on something you can't use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you have $80,000 to buy a VHS, odds are you probably don't care about using it.
Yeah,
because you're swimming in your Scrooge McDuck swimming pool filled with gold coins.
Yeah, and you're just looking at that from afar and be like, I have that.
You're looking at it, through your Bugatti windshield in your, multi-million-dollar house because you spent $80,000 on a VHS.
Yeah. And it might not even have the movie on it anyway.
That got weirdly dramatic there for a second.
No, but all appropriate because this is a news story that I had heard of, but I never took the time to actually get into it.
I don't like when I see stories like this where something goes for that much money.
Yeah,
there's no real because value is not real. Value is only what people decide it's worth, which is why I never got into Bitcoin. Because as soon as people decide that Bitcoin isn't worth anything, like they recently have,
yeah,
it just tanks in value. So one day people are going to be like, you know what? VHSs, they're kind of dumb.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen sooner rather than later.
Hey, we could be wrong.
Yeah. Watch this. 10 years from now, the Crispy Noodle podcast is brought to you by VHS Collectibles.
You know what we should do? We should press all of our podcasts onto wax cylinders.
Yeah, right?
And you could get a whole crate.
Each episode Crispy Noodle podcast.
But each episode would have to be an entire crate of wax cylinders because they're 2 hours long.
Keep turning.
You just got to keep turning and
what are they going to say next? Find out. Keep turning.
I don't sound like this.
Old-timey radio time.
We all sound like Bane.
Oh, yes, Batman, yes.
I don't know. I'm a technophile, so I'm always trying to get the newest, latest, and greatest. And I'm not trying to go watch Betamax. I'm not trying to go buy wax cylinder. Everybody's into vinyls now. I'm give me Spotify.
Yeah, I would think you'd want it easier, but I don't know. Some people they love the antiquated formats.
Well, go play with your
Laserdisc. You remember Laserdisc?
No, I mean, I know the name, but no.
They're also an offshoot on this. They're some of these people are spending money on Laserdiscs too. It's crazy.
It also annoys me because I know that I don't have anything worth that much. You know? Yeah, I know all my VHSs are old and used, and I might still have a sealed DVD or two laying around, maybe in 10, 15 years.
Yeah, 15, 20 years, then it'll be DVDs that are going to be the hot thing. Get them graded, and then you can sell them.
You know what I'm going to start? I'm going to start buying random stuff.
Yeah, but don't open it.
And just keep it sealed forever. That boggles. Could you imagine? Somebody bought that copy of that movie, and I really want to watch this movie, and then just decided over the course of 20, 30, 40 years to never watch it?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. To me,
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Speaking of things that don't make sense, that's a good transition into our final part of the show, the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda basata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo! Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which means that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to?
Alrighty, so in this story, we are going to talk about 50-year-old Christy Etheridge.
I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50. 50 years old.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right.
She's 50.
50. She's 50.
Yep, that just take that. I love these stories that fit perfectly into that sound clip. She's from Ohio.
Okay. But
the story takes place in Florida.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Just without fail.
Always.
Everybody is going to Florida to commit crimes.
It is like there's a gravitational pull, like an odd news gravitational pull. No matter where you are in the country, if you are going to be involved in odd news, you are pulled to Florida.
Yeah, apparently. It's the way it is.
Okay, so Ohio transplanted to Florida.
Yes. And this is probably the worst way to ring in the new year.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this literally just happened.
Oh, no.
So buckle up. Because literally minutes after the new year rang in 2023, an Ohio woman that was vacationing in Florida was arrested after she struck a cop in the face with her plastic New Year's Eve top hat, according to the police report.
No, I'm gonna f***ing kill you, motherfucker, old style.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Oh, that's great.
Yep. So cops were dispatched to a local eatery, which was hosting a New Year's Eve party, in which they had heard about an altercation that had happened inside the venue. The husband, William Etheridge, was also involved in this story. Police decided to go and ask him questions first, as opposed to Christy. At which point, Christy, quote, this is in the police report, quote, continuously injected herself into every facet of our conversation.
No, I'm gonna f***ing kill you, motherfucker, old style. Don't make me issue my ultimate force.
Somebody was really annoyed when they wrote that report.
Yeah. I love the way that is phrased.
Continuously injected herself
into every part of the conversation.
The people there are like, would you just shut up?
Yeah, we're not even talking to you. We're talking to your husband first.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, what's the term, Karen? This sounds like an extreme Karen.
Oh, she's extremely Karen-like.
Yeah. At one point, the officer on the scene, Anthony Borgano, specifically told her that you need to stop talking. We are not talking to you.
She's like a kid.
Yep. At that point, that's when Christy got very upset and yelled, "Are you effing kidding me?"
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
She ran back to her table where she grabbed her New Year's Eve top hat and used it to strike Anthony Borgano squarely in the face.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this
Why
is
did she think that? This is the thing that always gets me with stories like this is just the completely like the complete like imbalance in like reactions, right? I mean, I guess if they had a balance, like a normal reaction, it wouldn't be an odd news story. But I just want to know like a situation where like you like they're not talking to you, but you're annoyed that they won't listen to you in a conversation that you were not involved in.
Yeah.
And then her response to this is, I know what'll get their attention.
Punching you in the face.
Smack him in the face.
Yeah.
That definitely won't end poorly for me.
I'll get your attention one way or the other.
I also love that she did it with the 2023 hat.
Yes.
You know, everyone's like, oh, 2023 is going to come crashing in. And she, like, literally,
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker, old style.
Everyone's always like, oh, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Well, she was literally hitting people with the new year.
Yep. The police report noted that this happened at 12:13. So literally 13 minutes into the new year, she's about to commit a crime.
I don't know if there's like a record for
I think there should be a record for this.
Fastest crime committed.
Spontaneously, too. I don't want it to be planned.
It can't be planned. You can't be like waiting outside a bank at like.
No, I don't want to. No, I don't want that. No, because I'm sure that's happened.
Yeah.
But
it has to be spontaneous.
I'm talking about an actual spontaneous odd news story.
Right.
This wins.
So what's the fastest non-planned criminal act? That's what I want to know. I feel like this is pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, she literally is 13 minutes into the new year, and she committed a crime here.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
if there were the Olympics of criminals.
If that was your intention, you did a good job, Christy Etheridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. 50-year-old Christy Etheridge.
I'm 50. 50 years old.
Here's the final verdict here. She's going to get charged with a felony battery rap and a misdemeanor charge for resisting police.
Yeah, that both makes sense.
Yep. The husband, William, he also got into the scuffle as well. So he was charged with resisting police as well. Both people were, quote, showed an indication of alcohol influence. I love whoever's writing this police report. They're really doing a good job with the verbiage here. So there you go. The husband was freed on a $650 bond, and Christy was freed on a $2,650 bond. And a fun note, apparently, according to their Facebook profile, they operate a window shade company in Columbus, Ohio. So if you live out near there and you want an interesting story from your window shade people, go find the Etheridges. They've got everything you need between window shades and odd news stories.
Odd news stories. They got plastic hats. They got
plastic hats.
They got everything.
Right. They got the New Year's hats ready to go. So there you go. Kicking off the new year, 13 minutes into the new year.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's just I'm blown away by that.
That's like talented.
Yeah, it's almost like a skill. Like you've set a world record for how fast did you disintegrate 2023.
Oh, starting it off having to make bail.
Yeah, right. Right. So there you go, folks. That's what I have for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news. Happy New Year, everyone, from the odd news department in Florida. So
starting the new year off right with some odd news.
Yep. And with that, I think it is time to wrap up our first episode of 2023. Thank you guys for listening and supporting us. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But most importantly, make sure you have a way to subscribe to the podcast feed, whether it's on YouTube. You just go to YouTube and you hit that subscribe button for the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Or if it's on Facebook Watch, where you can get our shows there. Or if we go live on there, make sure you're following us there. Or if it's on Spotify, where you get the video episodes on Spotify. But also, you can put Spotify in the background, and then you can listen to us as a traditional audio-only podcast as well. And take us on the go if you have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So there you go. There's lots of ways that you can keep listening to the Crispy Noodle Podcast no matter what you're doing in 2023. Hopefully it's not getting in trouble with the law right after the New Year's celebration.
No, stay out of trouble with the law. Just listen to the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Tons of ways to check us out. But if you need to get in touch with us individually on Twitter to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on the Twitters. Let us know what you want us to talk about on next week's episode. If it's an odd news story, make sure you send it my way so that Mikey doesn't see it and he gets his pure, raw reaction to those stories when I read them.
That's right.
But yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about on future episodes of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. But for right now, we got to wrap this one up. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Woo! 2023. There you go.
Yes.
That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.